Welcome to the Business Awareness Hour with Norman, the Awareness Guy. Now, let's start the show.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Business Awareness Hour. I am Norman, the Awareness Guy, and the Awareness Lady is Linda Grace Farley. So we just gave you a new title.
Yes, we did. And I have many of those. So thank you, Norm. I appreciate
You are
that.
now the Awareness Lady.
Yeah.
Okay, how is the Awareness Lady? What's going on? How was your weekend?
Excellent. We did a health expo up in University of Florida and the YMCA, which was fantastic. Beautiful day up in the northeast of Florida, and met a lot of good contacts. How was yours? How was your weekend?
Oh, mine was great. I found out that I have a detached retina.
Well, that's not good.
Well, that's not good at all. So we're going to take care of that on Friday morning. And this is the second time I've done this. Once it was the right eye, now it's the left eye. But this too shall pass.
And you've already gone through it, so there's no, oh, well, okay, get it fixed, move it on.
That's it. Next, what can I do?
Absolutely.
All you can do is hope for the best, and that's it. Another, our guest this evening has something to do. It's going to sound crazy with what you do, right? And something in what I'm suffering from is medical bans.
Yeah.
And here she is, Jean Malin from My Angel Alert Band company. Jean, welcome this evening to the Business Awareness Hour.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Let's give a round of applause for Jean.
Thanks, Linda.
Okay, welcome. So tell us what the My Angel Alert Band company does.
Well, we are actually enhancing the medical emergency response by getting these wearable items out to individuals that have medical conditions, medications that they're on, allergies that they have. So when a first responder shows up on site, that they're going to have instant access to those critical details for you. So what we're doing is updating those outdated medical ID jewelry that used to be out there forever. And basically it said, I have something wrong with me, but you basically didn't know what it was. Now we're giving those medical caregivers instant access to know the specific things about you that we can have a much greater probability of saving your life by not making unintentional mistakes because they didn't know specific things about your condition.
Well, let's go back in time a little bit, if we may, to Jean Malin's business beginnings. What you didn't grow up wanting to sell or be involved in this particular area of expertise. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I will. But Norman, did you grow up? When you were little, did you think that you were going to be in charge of Friend Entertainment USA in this podcast?
I did, but I'll tell you what I wanted to do. When I first started off, I wanted to be an attorney. And why did I want to be an attorney? I wanted to help people. I have a big mouth. I wanted to use my big mouth and help people and settle their problems. But the other situation that I wanted to do, and I've come pretty close, is I wanted to be in some form of entertainment. So between the podcast show and particularly the concerts that I go and do, I'm kind of like a little bit there. So the answer is, yeah, sort of. So I'm going to turn it back to you now. Your turn.
I will. But, the thing is, you can never outguess life. And you can plan all you want. But the odds of that particular thing happening maybe won't happen, right? So you can plan lots of things. But remember when you were in school and the teacher said, write a little thing about what do you want to be when you grow up? Way back then, for some reason, I decided I wanted to be a jeweler. I wanted to work with diamonds and stuff. Well, I'm not working with diamonds, but I am kind of working with a jewelry kind of item. So
absolutely.
Maybe there was some flow there. I don't know. So
the diamond is in the rough.
Diamond in the rough.
The information.
There you go. But as time passed, lots of things happened. I've always had some kind of an entrepreneurial spirit in me. So I've done, I've owned my own laser engraving business. Ended up selling that to move on to do something different. I've done some brick and mortar retail businesses. I've done online businesses. I've done some different things. Everything just provides that informational education step, to get you to can feel more comfortable doing the next thing, right? So I've also had some corporate jobs too. So that's the kind of short of my work career, what I've done to bring me to this point.
You had some SMS marketing?
I did when text marketing first came out. Text marketing. So I got involved in that. I'm like, this is amazing. This is going to be great marketing for people. And it was and still is. Right. So I got involved in that for quite a while and set up a lot of businesses so they could get their marketing out there, as fast and instantaneous. And I don't know about you, but I still get text messages from companies or businesses or whatever that I'm set up with, just so that if there's something I want, I know what I'm getting.
Oh, for sure. So Gene,
I get too many of them.
Oh, yes.
Hey.
No.
I said I get too many of these text messages and a ridiculous amount of phone calls that I have constantly blocked.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I have to ask you, Gene, everybody has a why. Have you ever heard that expression? So what's your why? Why did you get into the profession that you're in today?
I was actually distributing. I was marketing another product and was feeling very, very passionate about it until some red flags came up. And I had to sit back and decide whether I could deal with those red flags. And red flags are kind of a thing that you better pay attention to.
Sure.
So I got together with a couple people and hashed it out a little bit and decided that what My Angel Alert Band could do was going to get rid of some of those red flags and produce a much better, higher tech product with a lot more capabilities. So the passion behind it is massive. I just get an endless amount of support from people who want to be involved with it and how they want to take this not only national but global.
But what was the trigger that made you look that way? Because everybody has something that impacts their life.
Well, there was a situation when, I had to think back on this because, I had an aging parent and she was my mom was in an assisted living and her health wasn't so great. It was great when she was not great, but it was pretty good when she went in, but it declined pretty fast. And she ended up with kidney failure and we had to end up calling the ambulance, right? And they hauled her away, didn't ask us a whole lot of questions. They just hauled her away to the hospital. And afterwards, the EMT came back to me and the EMT said, Gene, was there something wrong with your mom's heart? And I said, well, yeah, she has some conditions and stuff, but that wasn't why she was transported. And she goes, well, that would have been good for us to know during that transport. And again, there's a situation where the EMTs are, trying to work with her, but there's pieces of data that they didn't know. And so they're assessing as they go, which is fine. But if we can improve that quality, they'll be able to treat that patient so much better. And again, the end result is a higher increase of saved lives.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes, as well as I do, I mean, especially what happened with your mom, they pick her up for one thing and then something else is because the kidneys and the heart is like, they're married there. So,
right.
And then that just adds more stress and, making sure they do everything right for your mom because they wouldn't want anything to happen to her.
Absolutely. And, I applaud and I commend anybody in the medical field, those EMTs, the first responders, everybody, because that's their mission when they got into that field was to save lives, right? Not just to hand out medications. They actually want to save lives, right? So I commend them. All that we're doing is increasing the efficiency of what they do, so that they can deliver precise, enhanced care to those patients during those emergency situations.
they're saving lives with that.
Exactly.
You can actually project out. You're saving a life.
Mm-hmm.
by
Absolutely.
somebody using
Jean, could you tell us about the band? How does the information get stored? What kind of information do you put in there? How much room is there, for the information?
Yeah, it's so here's what it looks like, stretched out. It's just a silicone band. It's got a lock on it, so you can put the loop in there and size it around your wrist, right? I'm actually wearing one, and it has the medical caduceus on it, that alerts the medical people that something is going on. It's got a tap symbol and then the phone. So first of all, the information, your information gets put on by you or someone that's willing to put that information on for you, maybe a relative or someone, if that's the case. We give you access to our portal so that you can put that information on there. You can put as much information on as you want. You can put your whole medical history on there if you want. Some things that can go on there are the critical things like medications that you're on, any allergies that you may have that could be life-threatening, what kind of medical allergic reactions that you get, any specific medical conditions that you might have. And a lot of those are what we call invisible conditions. Mm-hmm. So I could be looking at either one of you right now, or you could be looking at me, and you have no idea if I have something going on, right? I don't know if either of you do, other than now we know that Norman's retina is bad right now, but we're going to get that fixed. But there's so many conditions. It could be diabetes. It could be an implant. It could be heart disease. It could be lupus. It could be hydrocephalus. It could be MS. There's all kinds of things out there. And those things are increasing in number. The number of conditions that people have are increasing. There's more people that have conditions than don't have conditions, or on medications or to control something or whatever. You can put your blood type on there. You can put, if you have any advanced directives, you can put those on there. You can add your living will if you'd like. You can add your emergency contacts. So if your emergency
how much space do you have?
It's unlimited. It's unlimited. You can put x-rays on there. I actually have a cousin. Yeah, you can put pictures on there. So I have a cousin who, long story short, he has titanium implants in his spine, and they fuse those to his hips. And he's been very nervous about if something happens to me and I can't tell them, and if they move me, they're really going to mess me up if they're not careful. So we put x-rays on his band so that when they pull it up, that's going to come up and they go, oh, we need to be a little bit more careful, or a lot more careful with this guy before we move him, right? Because if they messed it up, it's fused to him, they would just really mess him up. So, and when an EMT comes up, okay, or a medical person, they have to be within close proximity to do this with their phone. They put their phone up to it. On the phone will open up everything, but it will be the critical medical details that EMT, that person, that first responder needs to know right away, right? If you need to flow down through the rest of the medical history, you can do that. But we need those critical things because we want that instantaneous access. Are you allergic to, I know a gal who was in a medical emergency. They thought she was having a heart attack. Gave her nitroglycerin. She didn't know she was allergic to nitroglycerin, but it just about killed her. And now she's like, I need one of these because I never want that to happen again. There's people allergic to latex. My cousin with the fused spine, he's allergic to sulfa. If you're allergic to penicillin, they need to know these things, right? I have another, these are actual people in my life. It's a married couple. The wife is severely diabetic, and she has 2 insulins that she's deathly allergic to, could kill her. Her husband can never remember what those are. The doctor's asking me, goes, I don't know. For whatever reason, he hasn't put them in his wallet. He hasn't written them down somewhere. I don't know. But we can fix that problem for him. We just tattoo it right onto his arm. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So, or his forehead, I don't know. But we actually have another product, and it's called the Angel Pocket Card. It actually says on the top here, Portico Medical Record. We can link we put all of her medical information on this band, right?
Sure.
Okay. We put all of her medical information also on this pocket card. They are linked together so that if she gets makes it to the hospital and they take her to a room to take care of her, and then he's still standing out at administrative trying to get information, he could just give them this card. Adrenaline's flowing, and it's really hard to remember a lot of details, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're standing at an emergency scene, you're watching your loved one laying there or whatever, and they're asking you questions. And so this links right to it, and you can have as many of these pocket cards linked to this one band as you want. We've got a limit of 5. You really don't need more than 5, really, but you could get more if you needed to.
That would be nice to have if your children, hand them out to your children in case, because you never know, what the situation may develop.
Exactly.
And
let me reverse that for you, Linda. What if
Mhm.
it's your child who has some kind of a condition?
Oh,
And
yeah.
you may or may not want them to wear the band, but mom and dad carry a card. Grandma and grandpa carry cards. The daycare provider gets a card. The child wants
Sure.
to go do an overnight stay at somebody's house. You give that card temporarily to the person where they're staying overnight. So these come in handy in lots of different ways.
So let me ask you about getting the information on that. Is that, how some of the medical offices, they have portals now where you can access the portal. Can you upload the information from the medical office's portal up to that into
So I'm going to tell you, Linda, that we are in our flagship launch with this right now. So these are currently available for sale. We have other products coming out. They are for sale. We have stages coming out with different applications that we're going to add to it because we're technology, right?
Sure.
We're technology. So we have that in the pipeline so that we get fluid all the way through, but we have to do a step at a time.
There's a lot of people like myself. I guess one of the things is because of age. I am not that all computer literate. Now, a lot of people in my age, older, a little bit younger, are also not so computer literate. Do you have a customer service department where people can get help?
We don't right now. It's going to be reliant at this point. I would be happy to do it. Just I would have to actually get somebody to actually do that for me, right? To do that for you, right? So if you have somebody willing to help you with that, like a spouse or a child or someone, a friend or whatever, to help you do that, that's kind of the stage it's at right now. I'm sorry to say that, but we will be implementing that availability. There's or something similar to that to be able to help people. But the good thing is that, let's say you've got it all set up. I've got all my medications on here and I'm all good to go. I go to the doctor next week because something just wasn't feeling right. And they said, let's just change your medications up. So I have instant access. I have access so I can go and update that right away. Now, if you have a doctor or somebody that's willing to do that for you, you could give them the access to go ahead and upload that for you. And again, eventually we're going to be all integrated. So,
Well, Rome wasn't built in a day, but you have to be ahead of the launch, right?
Somebody had the idea to build Rome, right?
Exactly. So I understand technology, but as I get older, technology is taking off quicker than my mind can handle that. So, but yeah, I understand that, and it's continual updating.
Oh yeah.
So it's imperative that the information stays updated. So it's almost like, people have their living will or their DNR papers. Periodically, you have to update those, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This would be one of those things to add to the list.
Yes.
How about, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead, Norm.
You must have some very, very, very interesting stories that have come about in putting this company together and taking it to where it is right now. I remember you mentioning something about a firefighter in Colorado.
I do. Yeah, there's a A fire station. I am. I'm going to call him family, but he's technically not blood family. But I know him as he is the director of a fire department out in the mountains out in Colorado, and he is a firefighter who is deathly allergic to latex, and she wanted these right away. And because she said, let's say if they had to give her a shot and they're wearing latex, and just by accident they just barely nick the needle of that shot, that needle to the latex, and didn't even realize they did it. And they give her a shot, that she will go into anaphylactic shock. So there's people that want that protection because they need somebody to know, right? So let's say she's wearing it and they gave her a shot either before or after they checked it, right? Even maybe they checked it first and even said, oh, she's allergic to latex. And it still happened, right? Because it was so minor. At least they know what it was, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully they can do something different than whether the latex gloves or whatever, but at least they're aware of it at that point.
How do people get in touch with you if they're real interested? They want more information. They want to discuss the cost or whatever else there may be, the questions on their mind. How do they reach you?
Well, they can call the office direct to 712-220-0356. And they're more than welcome to email me. Obviously, it's Jean, which is my first name, and my company name, Jean, at myangelallertband.com. And then we've abbreviated the website to maab.ai, myangelallertband.ai, just so you don't have to type in quite so many letters when you go to the website. And you can find us on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube and Instagram, Twitter, it's everywhere. We're out there all over the place. So not too hard to get a hold of us.
Are you a national company?
We are. We're launching nationally. Absolutely.
Congratulations. When is the launch going to take place?
We're already in pre-launch. So we actually have some discount pricing going on right now. That'll be good through June 30th. So it's 25% off the product and 2 months free of the monitoring service.
So there's a monthly monitoring service.
There is. Yep. And that keeps the back-end security of all your information. Right. And yeah.
Have you done many podcast shows and to get the word out?
We're working on that. I've done a couple. I was on Genius Entrepreneur, and I was on the Strategic Advisory Board podcast. I do have some more coming up. I have Invisible Conditions.
Jeff Pearson
with E360 TV. He is with Hydro with Hope, his nonprofit. I'm also going to be on another podcast called The Anomaly Factor. And I know there's another one. Autism Resource Project is going to have a podcast. So I'm just kind of lining them all up right now. I've had some other reach out for some other autism groups. So there's plenty of podcasts and speaking engagements coming up. So I've actually done some training with an assisted. It wasn't an assisted living. It was an in-home care company. Mm-hmm. So that, they have to have pride training every once in a while. So they were actually out in Colorado as well. And so we just did it via Zoom, and it was 2 days because they had two different groups, but I would provide the training of technology because they need to be aware of different things that are coming into the market too. Or if they feel a patient needs something, they can have materials, just say, well, here's an option for you. They can't sell it or tell them to get it anything, but they need to be, they have to be trained on different things that may be in the home when they walk in, right? So if somebody's actually wearing something like this, then they would know how to use it, what it does, what kind of information they can provide, that sort of thing. So I have done on training for different places like that.
Have you done trade shows already?
I have not done a trade show. Because we're in pre-launch, the inventory order needed to be, you have to have the inventory order on hand. So those are coming.
What's the time frame?
Inventory will be available in our hands by mid-month. So if anybody places orders, we're planning to have that order out by the end of June 30th.
And you also can have a deal or whatever for fundraising for organizations.
Yeah, we're looking at that those kind of options too, because I want to be able to help as many people as possible, right? And there are a
Yeah.
lot of nonprofits that have that are focused on the invisible condition, whatever it is, diabetes, MS, lupus. There's all kinds of organizations focused around a medical condition. So if
Sure.
they're interested in doing something for their nonprofit, we'd be more than happy to look at that for them.
You know, I'm not sure if you know or not what Linda Grace Farley does for a living, but she works very closely with people. Sort of. Well, why don't you explain, Linda?
Have you ever heard of the Beamer, Gene?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you know about the Beamer, that's what one of the products I promote. Because if your blood is flowing, then you have an opportunity. You're going to feel better, more energy, and it takes you out of. I can't even talk today. It takes you out of stress modes, put you into parasympathetic, and then the body can do its thing. Heal itself.
Exactly.
So,
Right. Right.
yeah, if you're familiar with that. But I have all kinds of. I think outside the box when it comes to stuff of that nature, because I would rather. I think we have the ability to heal ourselves if we're given the right
I agree.
tools, right?
I agree.
So rather than give your power away and say, okay, fix me,
Mhm.
right? I think what you're promoting as well is people taking their lives in their hands and saying, this is me. So look at me. I'm not a number. I'm not a band with a barcode on when you go into it, submitted to the hospital, right? Or admitted, I should say, to the hospital.
Right.
So I could see, as you're talking, all these ideas where I could see hospitals getting engaged, right?
Mhm.
And then just downloading all the information and putting it around rather than having the other wristband that they have, or maybe having both. But I could see something like that done. A lot of opportunity.
I think I just created a relationship.
I think you did too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all
Gene,
about being passionate about what you do.
Gene, you know that I put on concerts for charities.
Yes, I do.
And there's a couple of shows that look like I'm going to be signing a deal for this week, and they're going to take place at Southern Methodist University. And one of the organizations is called the Epochno Initiative. Did you ever hear of them?
What's it called again?
Epochno, EPOCHAL Initiative.
I have not heard of that.
It's an autistic organization.
Okay.
I'm dealing with the director who has autism himself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to give him, as I get a little bit closer with this particular deal, I'm going to introduce you to them. I have a number of people like this that I can, which I plan on introducing. I plan on introducing you. And I will call you and I will let you know.
I appreciate that, Norman. Thank you.
Linda should also have a number of those type of organizations.
For sure. Yeah, because what we're doing, we're helping people, being of service to people. Because this is what Norm and Gene, this. You could talk to people and they've never heard of the Beamer. They've never heard of the Angel, network that you're doing here. But
right.
We want to make that name a household name.
Right? Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Angel's kind of important to me because, not everybody believes in angels, but I do. And I think angels are always around us, helping us. And
absolutely.
So, in my opinion, everyone needs an angel. So we want to provide that angel through the My Angel Alert Band so that you get that extra protection. Yep. Because those emergencies do not wait for words. So think about it. Let's say it's you or you're looking at your loved one and they're in a position where a medical condition is going on and somebody's calling that ambulance, right? So you get the EMTs there, and the EMTs are trying to assess that situation, and these seconds are clicking off, right? And
Yes,
the time,
yes.
time is critical a lot of times, very critical. And so the sooner they can access that information, the faster they can assess the situation and get you on the way. I just had, I mean, nobody wants to be in that position, right? The adrenaline's flowing. There's just a lot of stuff going on, and nobody wants to have to be worrying about what's going on. Even though those EMTs are very experienced, if they don't know what they don't know,
They're overworked.
Sometimes,
That-
yes, exactly. And if you just don't know that one piece of information, it could become more life-threatening. But if they
Of
know
course. Right.
if they know that piece of information, they can avoid a potential problem, right? And that's what we want to do, is just help them do their job more efficiently, right? So, yeah, I had another thought and I just lost it.
Well, it's 7:30. Norm, what do you think?
I think Friend Entertainment wants to have a little commercial. So we're going to run and do our commercials, and we'll be back in 2 minutes.
Sounds great.
My name is Lisa Rodino. I am a commercial loan advisor and broker. Have you been finding that your business's cash flow is not where you need it to be? Have you found yourself taking from your personal accounts to meet your business's obligations? Have you found that those quick solutions of quick money are starting to get awfully expensive? My job is to find the right funding products for my clients so they can get back to working in their business and give me the task of finding the best options for their situation. Give us a call today to learn more. 516-268-0350.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Friend Entertainment USA. My name is Norman Wasserman. I am also known as the Music Man. Let me just tell you a little bit about Friend Entertainment. We put on concerts for charities, and we do that everywhere from New York to Las Vegas. We do R&B, Motown, rock and roll, jazz, whatever it is that you wish. Friend Entertainment will deliver the best of the best for you and your charity. Here are some of the names of the talent that have performed with us on our stage. Stevie Wonder, Tina Turner, The Temptations, Earth, Wind and Fire, the one and only ELO, Elton John himself, Kool and the Gang, and the fabulous Donna Summer. Go to our website, friendentusa.com. That's www.friendentusa.com, or feel free to call us at 631-698-9696. 631-698-9696, and we'll see you at the next show.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. We have Gene Mayland here from My Angel Alert Band. I thought when I first read it, I thought you were a rock and roll band. That was a poor.
You don't want me singing,
You know what we've been doing for the last couple of months? We've been taking people and their websites, and we put them on the second half of the show, and that's Linda Grace. That's her duty, is to go over your website, and we take your website kind of like apart and ask you to explain certain things. And if that's okay with you, we're gonna go and we're gonna jump into that right now.
Okay,
Yeah, we can
Dylan,
do
can
that.
you-
I got a couple other features too that I can share that the band.
Yeah, if you
actually-
have something you want us to share, please get
Sure,
it up
absolutely. So, let's say that you are in a medical crisis and the EMT or first responder, somebody does scan your band, right? So if you have your emergency contacts set up in your information, it will send an immediate text notification to all of the ICs that you have set up. So they know that your band has been scanned, right? So that's one thing. We're pretty much, the three of us are pretty much English speaking, right? But we do have the capability to put your information in multiple languages, or let's say you're both English, you're bilingual. You could put it both in Spanish and English. But let's say that you're a traveler, that you like to travel, right? So let's say, pick a country, Norman, with a foreign language that you would like to travel to.
Europe. No, Europe, but that's a continent. Let's say Italy.
Italy. Okay. So you're going to travel over there and you've got some conditions. So while you're traveling, you've got your information on your band in English, right? So now we're going to add Italian to it. So while you're traveling over to Italy and back, you're covered the whole time. So if something happens over there, they can read it in Italian, right? You get
Wow,
back
that's
from your
great.
trip, you no longer need the Italian anymore, and then you can remove that. Then your next trip, you're going to go to Germany. So then you add the German, so you're covering both English and German while you're traveling and you come back. So we do have
Now,
those capabilities as well.
Do you have
That's a
partners
great
in this firm, or is this firm all you?
Do I have partners?
Yes.
I am the sole owner, but I do have a team that I hired.
Okay.
Yes. I
What
have very professional back-end help.
you really put together a phenomenal product.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I know. I love my tech team. I love my tech team. I love my I love all of my team.
Just remember me when you're big and rich and more famous than what you already are.
I'll hire one of your bands for a
All right,
nonprofit.
we can
Oh,
do
there
that.
you go.
Actually, I do that.
You got a Rod Stewart one? You got a Rod
I
Stewart
take
band?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a Rod Stewart band?
Yes.
There we go.
Oh,
That's one.
I take people that want to do just like what we're doing now, but we do a concert. And then
Yeah.
you go on stage, you demonstrate your products, you market your product. You'll have, 500,000 people there watching Rod Stewart and knowing all about what it is that my Angel Alert band does. So that's a topic for another time, which we can discuss. But let's turn over to Linda and let's get started with Mike, because this time's going to run out, and I
Yeah,
want all this information to be out there. My Angel Alert band, go, Glenn.
okay. So what I see, the starter bundle, I'm going down to, I'm going to scroll down to the information on the bottom showing the products that you have available. I see you at your mission. If you don't mind me reading off your mission,
No, that's
Jean.
fine. Yep.
Our mission is to globally distribute innovative wearable medical technology that provides medical caregivers instant access to personal medical records using the highest standard of secure technology. Can you talk to that a little bit? Because, Jean, we talked about this just before we started. Technology, what are you doing to prevent any type of any type of information being taken away?
Right.
What
We
do you do?
touched on the word being secure, but we didn't get into it. So we are using the same technology that is used that Google Pay and Apple Pay are using. So it's the highest form of secure technology that can be used, right? You have to be in close proximity. First of all, you have to be in close proximity. So somebody can't just be casually walking by and get your information. They can't be sitting across the room from you and get the information, right? And we take that very, very seriously. So again, so let's say that the EMT or a care provider taps the phone they have to be right next to it, right? To get the information. The information opens up on the phone. That person cannot save the information. They can't screenshot it and they can't forward it. Okay. So, and within 5 minutes, it's going to shut back down again. So it doesn't remain open. Now, we're not worried about the EMTs and first responders sharing information. They could care less about doing that. They just want to save your life. But if
Right.
somebody else were trying to get that information, it's going to be very challenging for them to get. So we're doing our due diligence to keep your information as secure as possible.
Excellent, because there's concern with that. You see that when you're getting a letter in the mail saying that their information was compromised, right? So I wanted to make sure that we address that.
Yes.
Okay.
It
for
happened
our
again
listeners.
with Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, just last week.
Yep.
Okay.
I saw that
So
come
let's
across my
talk-
email too.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I saw that email come across from Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
I saw that come across mine too.
Okay. I'm looking at bundles Jean. Would you like to talk about the different bundles
Sure.
that
So
you have
I mean,
available?
yeah, so it's basically, it's not very difficult. So you can just get a band or you could get a card. If you really didn't want to wear anything, right? And we're coming out with more wearable items, you could just get a card, right? If for some reason you absolutely didn't want to wear something. But to bundle it, you would get a band and a card or one card, right? And they would be linked together. If you buy a bundle, those cards are linked to that band.
Okay.
Okay. You can't buy a bundle, can't buy a band for the husband and a card for the wife, and both of them have their own information. The bundles are meant to be linked. And the reason for that is extra security for your loved ones. So let's say that you've got you're a senior parent, you're a senior, and you've got 2 adult children. So then you'd want, no, I just dropped it, but you would get the band and 2 cards. Or if you have 5 children, for, you know, if we talked about the child with a condition, and you've got cards for both the parents and the grandparents, so you could buy the band plus multiple cards. Those are the bundle packs.
Very good. So we have individual products as well that you're
Absolutely.
offering.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we talked about the secure. We talked about the secure medical alert bands, wristbands. You mentioned about the secure medical wallet, which I think that's fabulous because you never can have enough coverage, right?
Exactly.
The monitoring platform, what does that do? I mean, you mentioned a few of this, the different highlights. That is a membership every month?
Yes, it is. It's so that we can continue the security of all your information. And then we're also going to be adding some additional features, and that allows for the emergency contacts to be notified and the ability to use multiple languages, all those kind of things. It's the extra features that are available.
Okay, so I have one question. You know how I want to say the medical alert comes in to make sure that you're okay? Is that something, or is that in the future where they would just check to it? I call it this Twizzle, where they send it out just to make sure the signal is good.
So this doesn't have a signal as of now. It doesn't have that kind of technology in it. So first of all, it's waterproof 24/7. You can wear it in the shower, swimming, whatever. And it doesn't, there's no battery. It doesn't require charging or anything like that. Okay. So you don't have to worry about any of that. So you're not tied to an internet. You're not, there's not those kind of signals going on. You don't have to charge the item. Now, like I said, this is the flagship product, right? Because we have the ability to add more technology that's coming out. So we'd like to be able to add, like the GPS technology, fall technology, different things like that. Those are coming down the pipe, right?
Okay. All right. So let's see what else we got here. Don't mind because I'm scrolling, looking at. I think the prices are excellent when you look at things in comparison. I think your price point is very well. Should I mention that? How much you're asking?
Yeah, you can. We've been doing some consumer market surveys.
Okay.
Consumer surveys and studies, and getting feedback on that. So far things are falling into line with where our thoughts were. So we want to gather some more information, but yeah, we're doing our due diligence that way. And we're also connecting with the EMTs and the medical community too, to get their feedback. So we've got a different set of questions for those. So we are doing our due diligence that way.
Jean, did you ever think about getting in touch with police departments and fire departments?
Absolutely.
Okay. I wanted to be unique and say, hi, I got a lead for you, but that didn't work.
Yes. I would say fire departments definitely to get in touch with, because they're usually
Have
for
the
some
EMTs.
Yeah. And so there's so many avenues of where people can be wearing these. So just even if they're not the medical side of it, the first responder, They still could be a police officer or firefighter that has conditions, right?
Mhm.
High risk occupations, people in high risk occupations or adventure sports or people who travel. We talked about that. Trucking companies, truckers who are going across the country all the time, if they've got conditions like that. There's specialty verticals.
But Gene, I could see, 'cause corporations have these wellness programs.
Yeah.
Right. If you go get physical, you have, you get so many points. I could see them getting one of these bands to hand out to their high risk employees.
Absolutely. Yep.
You see?
We're going to be touching all of those verticals. Absolutely.
And that would be an option that they can give out during their wellness fairs.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think that is really pretty fabulous. Okay, let's see. What else do we want to cover? Okay, so let me go over your individual products. The Secure Medical Alert wristband is only $54.95. That is reasonable. It's affordable by pretty much everybody. The Secure Medical Wallet card is the same price. And for a measly $9 a month, you're getting the membership, the monitoring platform membership. So I think your price point is pretty right on and affordable for a lot of people in our communities.
And just let me point out something here, Linda, if you don't mind, is if you
No,
do
no,
the
go ahead.
bundle package, the price goes down on those cards, right? So you get a
Perfect.
discount on the cards if you're buying a bundle. But remember, they're linked. That's why you got the individual if you're buying one for yourself and one for somebody else, and you have your own medical information on each, right? But when they're linked, the price goes down for each of those cards that you add to it.
Oh, I see that. So this is pretty nice because I just opened this up and you get the card, the device, and the monitoring, and it's only 61 month, I think it is, probably. Yeah. It's only $63. So for another $9, you're getting a pretty good thing. That's pretty neat. I would encourage all of our listeners to go check out this website as well. And it is www.maab.ai, and do your own research. I think this would be absolutely a necessity to have in our homes today.
Yeah. And the stories that come to me already, and we don't even have this mass marketed yet. The stories that come to me are just amazing. I literally had a friend of mine. She's got a lot of medical conditions. She was driving down the highway one day and started not feeling very good at all. Like she was going to pass out. Some angel put an ambulance on the side of the road for whatever reason, wherever she was, next to a small town. And she saw the ambulance. So she pulled over, and they had one, they were able to scan her band to get the information that they needed to help her at that moment. So, and we don't even have these mass marketed yet. And then they get her to the hospital, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the EMT's job, the ambulance, they're done. But now they pass her off to the doctor. So now the doctors, nurses can scan this as well. So you've got that continuity of care throughout the whole process. But I know as we get these mass marketed out there, the stories that are just going to come about what this did to save people's lives. I've even talked to a gentleman who was a medevac in the Army, and he said these will be phenomenal. He said, because we show up so often, have no clue. We go in blind as to what's going on in the situation, what's going on with that person more often than not. And it's a very, very high percentage. So I just get reassurance from everybody that I talk to, like how valuable this really is.
Gene, let's go say that somebody has purchased your product and a year or so goes by and their medical conditions have changed. How simple is it for them to update the information?
They just go back into the portal that we gave them access to, And they can update that every day if they needed to. They can update it as often as they want. Again, like Linda was talking earlier, like if you have your living will or whatever, or your advanced directives and those things change, you can change that anytime you need to. If your medications change, next month when you go back to see the doctor for your checkup and they change it again, change the dosage or whatever, you can update that as often as you need to. So it's very accessible.
I see this working great for people who suffer from dementia or Alzheimer's, even adventure sports.
Which will be even more critical when we add the GPS feature, which I don't want to give a timeline, but I'm hoping it's like very, very soon.
Jean, my mom lived in a senior citizen apartment complex, and on the back of the door, they had this sheet of paper, and you were hoping that everything, because that's when the EMT and the fire department would come in to one of the residents' places, they were relying on this information being updated. Mm-hmm. And if the individual wrote it out, maybe their handwriting is a little bit, shaky, or maybe they forgot something. I think this is perfect to make sure that that loved one is being taken care of.
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
so many different ways. Yeah,
I know there are other systems in place that that EMTs are supposed to look for information. I know there's things in place, but it still takes that moment to read through whatever is there, right? So if that critical information can pop up just like that, and you've got those immediate necessary things they need to know, right? Mm-hmm. They can have the whole medical history in there, but it's so critical to have that instant access. We're talking about seconds. Seconds count, right? So I do have a local friend of mine who has a lot of medical conditions. And when she found out that I was doing this, she goes, "How soon is it available, Jean? Because I need one." She has a laundry list of medical conditions. And I can't even imagine when things change, how often she has to update that information. She either handwrites it out or she goes in the computer and then has to change it, reprint it out, carries it in her purse or wallet or whatever, this will be so much easier for her to have that accessible anytime. A doctor's appointment, you can have it available at a doctor. Remember how to say, anytime you go to a doctor or something happens to you, they ask the same questions over and over and over again, right? Some things they have to ask, like, how many fingers am I holding up? Something like that, whatever it is. But those kind of things, it's here, it's right there. There it is. You've got it again, right?
And let's be honest, they say, what did you do 6 months ago? Some of us don't remember what we did yesterday, let alone 6 months ago.
How about an hour ago?
Right. So it's something that I feel that the person wearing that will feel very safe and secure, that they know that if anything happened to them, it's right here. Right. And they don't have to worry about
I can assure you, like when I travel, even when I'm traveling for fun, or whatever, I sometimes I drive through the night, that sort of thing. It is so reassuring for me just to know that if something happened, that it's right there. It's right there. Somebody's going to know. Somebody could get the information, whatever, It is very, very reassuring for me, even though there's other features out there, like, what is it, Life 360, where, my husband can kind of see where I'm at. Oh, you went to that restaurant. Oh, you went to, there, filled up with gas there, which is great. Absolutely great. But if something happened, if God forbid I fell asleep, flew off the road, or there was an accident, or I hit a pothole and had, I hit a deer, and so many things could happen, right? So reassuring for me to know that if something happens, that information is right there for them to know. And when it is scanned, it's going to send that immediate text notification to my husband.
Wow.
So and I don't even have serious medical conditions, right? And that's how reassuring it is to me.
Yeah. So you imagine these people that they're so consumed with fear this is their safety blanket.
Exactly. It is a
And it could be
security net.
expanded, even like you were saying about the children
Yep.
in the schools.
Yep.
The nurses in the schools and such would be able to get access to that and helping, and all. Oh my, I just see so many opportunities for this, that you're doing a good thing, Jean.
Thank you. Thank you. Yep. I've got a lot of
Can the
people
bands
supporting
be-
me, so it's nice.
What is it? Can the bands be white labeled?
Yes.
What is that?
Yeah. So if a company, maybe it's a large nonprofit and they want to give them to people that they support, they could do that. They could actually put, something on the band that would identify their organization, right? And they could purchase
Warren,
those.
You hear this?
Right. Or the company. Let's say it's the trucking company, that wants to give it to all their drivers. They could put their trucking company on here and, and then provide it for all their truckers. There's lots of availability.
I know you mentioned before that you have some associates that are involved with you in this organization. What do they do for a living?
I have a number of people that are coming on as distributors for me. I have one
Mike
gentleman.
Martin. Oh, there's Mike.
Martin, yeah, he's got the veteran background, and he's been in sales. He was with was it Xerox? Does it say Xerox on there?
He was with one of the major companies, I remember.
One of the major ones. He was a salesman for one of the major companies. Yeah. Anyway,
He's very much involved.
He's got the
with
sales skills, and he's got the heart for people. And Timber over there, she's actually came from as an EMT, and she is chomping at the bit to get out there. And I will see her this weekend at a conference that we're going to. And she and her mom is also in the medical field, are just waiting to get this out and running. Cindy is also, she deals with the senior community, and she's actually in Canada. So very excited to have her on board. There's a couple more that are coming on board with me that we don't have on here yet. I have a gentleman who's he is bilingual. He's Hispanic descent, and he's in Nevada, and he has one, sales background, and two, he deals with helping people with their Medicare and everything. And he's like, we need to get this to these people. I have another gentleman who's also got 30 years in the health industry in multiple aspects, other than being actually a medical provider. He's not a doctor or anything like that, but and he is already promoting this drastically all over the place.
Have you hit unions yet?
No, have not gone down that route yet. We want to hit them all at the same time, and that's really hard to do.
Right.
So we got to pick some strategies here.
So, Jean, we should talk.
Well, absolutely, Linda. Let's keep talking.
Yeah, put me on that list, because there is just so many different connections that I have down here in Florida.
And I don't. New York. That's interesting, Linda, because I don't have a distributor down there yet.
All right, I want a piece of this action.
Oh, Norm, I love you.
I'm telling you, Linda, you're the bomb. I told you, I wrote Linda a note, Jean, at the beginning of before she got on, obviously, and I said, "Tonight's your night."
Yeah, but I could see so much opportunity beyond comprehension. Because everybody has a medical record.
And that's and that's the end game, is to take it to that level.
Yeah. So
the first game is to save people's lives.
How do we get in touch with you? Everybody's been on this call. They're so anxious to get one themselves. So how do they get in touch with you, Jean?
If you want to go purchase, just go directly to the website. Go to maab.ai. That stands for My Angel Alert Band. You can email me direct at jean@myangelallertband.com. And you can call the office at 712-220-0356. And we are anxious to help all of those people who want that security, that peace of mind to be protected. You know, sometimes it's the senior, you know, that knows that they probably need something, but it's the adult children, their adult children that are really worried about their parents, that really say, hey, we need something for mom. We need something for dad.
Right.
You know, so please reach out, and we're more than happy to help you answer any questions, get this into your hands and onto the arms of your loved ones or yourself.
So it's been a pleasure having you on the show tonight.
I am
Believe it or
so
not,
grateful. I am
the
so
hour
grateful.
is
Thank you.
gone. I mean, it took 5 months, but we finally got you on here.
Everything comes in due time.
Anything worth waiting for is that's how
God
it
bless
goes.
We had to make sure this was right before we
Yep.
actually.
But we thank you, Gene Malin from My Angel Alert Band, for all your information. We wish you the very, very best of luck. A lot of good wishes for you, and you're going to be helping save a lot of lives. So God bless you. And
so let's have a follow-up call and have a call about all the lives that we've saved.
That would be great.
That would
I
be
love
nice.
that one.
All right.
Do we book it now for 6 months from now? When do we do?
Sure, why not?
Okay. So that being said, we thank everybody for tuning in
Yes.
tonight and listening to our show. And we'll see you all next week. Thank you. God bless and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
This has been the Business Awareness Hour with Norman, the Awareness Guy. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.